Steve, how you
Hey,
doing today?
good morning. Good morning. It's Monday.
It's God Chat Day. Steve, who do we have today?
We have Mr. Christopher Lemish. He is the founder and principal architect at Sniper Watch. Welcome to the show, Christopher. How are you today?
Good morning, guys. How are you? I'm doing great.
No,
Outstanding.
glad to have
Outstanding.
you.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and about your company, Sniper Watch?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it. So my name is Christopher Lemish, founder and principal architect of Sniper Watch. I'm an MCSE, CCIE level engineer by trade with over 20 years of industry experience in the consultation, the design, the deployment of advanced technology solutions for organizations of all sizes. Sniper Watch is a security-first comprehensive network and cloud infrastructure advanced managed security solutions provider, or MSSP. We help organizations protect and grow their revenue by mitigating and eliminating cyber risk.
It sounds complicated, and already it's over my head. So I hope you're going to be able to break it down, make it nice and easy for us to understand. So why is cybersecurity, and primarily why are cybersecurity risk assessments so important for organization in today's world?
You know, traditionally, we've seen IT vendors tell customers based on their vantage point or something that they're promoting or what's comfortable for them. That might have worked some time ago, but this is one of the value adds and unique differentiators of Sniper Watch. Our engagement methodology typically starts with the cybersecurity risk assessment. We take an agnostic approach. We're simply on a fact-finding mission, and we don't make premature judgments to observations based on our proclivities, but we let the behaviors do the talking. Then as we collect and aggregate that data, we map it to specific controls and make sense out of that to use it to operate the business optimally. So it's no different than going to your doctor. So if you're faced with an ailment and your doctor says to you, take this script, it's been working really great for my other patients, you'd be a little bit taken back, right? You'd be like, Doc,
Yeah.
hook me up to the EKG. Let's do a blood panel workup. Let's see if my cholesterol's out of range. So they're going to look at the numbers and they're going to see where your deficiencies are. So we take the same approach, and we basically perform an examination, then provide a diagnosis, and then we write a prescription. We can't prescribe without diagnosing the symptoms and finding that root cause of that issue. So risk assessments should be performed periodically. There could be a lot of garbage picked up on the network over time.
All right. So a lot of our audience happens to work in the community association field. We have lots of managers, lots of business partners, we have board members. But why would it be important for, say, community associations to consider their risk management strategy?
The primary purpose of a community association is to maintain and improve the quality of life for its business community and the people in which they serve. And that's done by implementing certain rules and regulations among the businesses and its members. So the goal of any cybersecurity risk management strategy or an incident response plan, for that matter, is to mitigate the attack field and limit the blast radius. That gets done by having a well-written information security program. You want to have a well-designed strategy in the event of a cyber attack, ransomware attack, or day zero. You want to know what the next steps are needed to be taken. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of valuable time trying to figure it out reactively, right? So
Okay.
In the case of ransomware, you only get about 72 hours to pay a ransom, or the cyber criminals are going to threaten to post your sensitive client data and information online and on the dark web forums.
Yeah, in our case, in the community, it can be the personal data of just about anybody that lives in the community. So that's pretty hectic for a board member.
What would you say to a smaller community association that feels that they're too small to be a target?
One of the things that we hear a lot from our clients is that they don't think that they're a target for hackers because they're so small. My business is small, nobody will ever find me. But the truth of the matter is, and let me share with you what happened to a company that recently came to us for help. In Allentown, PA, there was a business owner that I was speaking with, and basically here's what happened to them. They had a 3-store operation, and their 19-year-old receptionist had clicked on a bad email. It was basically a phishing link, and it took the business down for about 15 days. So their POS systems were not functioning. They had to reactively resort to paper-based transactions, and ultimately it cost the business about $50,000. So they never fully recovered. The sports shop in the next town over started running promotional ads and started taking away the business from that company. So contrary to popular belief, the larger communities do result in a bigger payday, but the smaller organizations do not have the proper safeguards in place to defend against these more sophisticated breaches. They certainly don't have the visibility or the means in which to detect those threats.
So let me just ask you, if you were a cyber criminal and you're fishing for information, what kind of data are you looking for?
Well, cyber criminals are constantly searching for easy targets or ways to find insecure protocols or software applications in order to gain unauthorized access for nefarious purposes, where there's a substantial payday or where they can go undetected. So they're not wasting time on organizations that have above average cybersecurity posture. They're going to leave that to the more hardened criminals with the deeper skill sets. So we're seeing an uptick in fake invoices and impersonation and modeling attacks.
Is it possible that individual residents or unit owners could be targeted through the association? Could there be a connection there and then have their data scrubbed? So I own a unit in an association, but my day job is someplace else. Can they make that transition? Can they come across that way?
Every business is in the path of a supply chain attack. Everybody's in a supply chain. There's nothing out of bounds for a cyber criminal. And at the end of the day, that's what they are. They're a criminal. So they don't play by the rules. Business folks will transition to their personal lives after 5 p.m. And 78% of attacks happen after 5 p.m. because nobody's there watching. So there are different pay grades of novice hackers, and that their one job is to probe and scrape social media and social media feeds for information. We call that spear phishing. It's basically a targeted attack.
Now, let me just ask you, because the stereotype of the cyber criminal being this guy in his grandma's basement, he hasn't showered in weeks, and he's living out of a bag of potato chips. Is that the current profile of what a cyber criminal looks like?
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. What we're seeing today are nation-state attack groups out of different countries, and they're attacking infrastructure. The business criminal model has been commoditized. They've started to deploy and employ this as a service model. So you no longer have to be technical and write code. So the cyber criminal industry has been basically shaped to become like a business, the way we all work. They have managers, they have people that they report to, and they can now download tools and malware for purchase and attack people and businesses. So it's really become a shotgun spray and pray approach to stealing money. We're seeing also the rise in insider threats. So there's this idea of coercion and manipulation. Internal employees are being asked to collect data or to throw in a USB stick onto a company computer or network for a return of a percentage of that ransomware payment if it's successful. So the business really has to implement certain safeguards and encryption and least privileged access to defend their organization from any of these various and different types of vectors that can potentially compromise the organization.
Now, very briefly, what are 3 simple steps that a small organization, such as a community association or management company, can put in place in order to ensure that they're compliant and safe and avoiding the pitfalls?
Right. I wouldn't say that there's 3 simple steps to get within compliance and keep the organization safe. What you do need is you need to implement an information security program. This is what's being mandated by regulators now, such as the SEC and the FTC. But if I had to pick 3, I'd say now you need endpoint detection and response or extended detection and response. What that really means is it's just real-time threat intelligence from the cloud that gets pushed down to endpoints in a short amount of time versus the traditional and legacy antivirus that you'd have to wait every day at 3 a.m. for the computer to pull down those updates. The next thing that is important is having a next generation application aware firewall. I would also implement strong email security because email is the #1 threat vector for breaches to materialize. There's many more things that you'd have to do, but what I just mentioned would be very critical to an organization.
So the future of this, we're all kind of stuck in this 10 years ago thing with, like you said, with, antivirus software. What's coming next?
So did you know that $6 trillion have changed hands in ransom payments? I think that folks truly don't believe in the magnitude of what's going on out there. I think they're not hearing people talk about it. Nobody is going to be at your group meetings raising their hand saying that they've been cyber attacked. People don't know it's as common as it is. When people get hacked, what is the dominant emotion that they feel? They feel embarrassed and they feel like a failure. So they're not announcing it and raising their hand, telling people about it. So people don't hear a lot about it. So until business owners accept that this is a highly profitable market, it's most certainly going to get worse before it gets better. But we need to adopt better cybersecurity habits as a whole. We have to start listening to the experts who specialize in these fields. So you simply can't manage your risk alone.
Very well said. Well, thank you very much for bringing some insight and shedding some light on the dark world of cyber threat. Steve, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Christopher, thank you so much for joining us. Anybody that has questions, inquiries, feel free to reach out to him. Just click on his name in the comments below. Hopefully you have a good rest of your week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next week on the next episode of Community Association Call Chat.